Ciao ragazzi, my name is Anthony. Welcome back on Inter Worldwide. Let's get a little bit more light up in here. I think that'll do. That's a lot better, isn't it? Right in my face. It's nice to see so many people come in straight away. Let me know if you can hear me all good, and we'll get this show on the road. There's 12 people in the house right now. We've got Giovanni. Thank you for coming in. I agree. The longer this game stays 0-0, the worse it will be. It's not going to be a long match preview. It's just going to be a lot of detail and a lot of information compacted into a small, short period of time. What's going on to my brother, my Serbian brother, Matija? Forza Novak Djokovic, who just came back to Australia and obviously won his first game. Absolute legend, absolute icon of the sport and icon of the world. When the human race needs to revolt, I want Novak Djokovic leading my line of defense. Thank you very much. Once again, have to win. Thanks, Mighty Mal, coming in. Can't afford to lose any games now. No, it is must win now. And like Acerbi said, like Mattia is saying, Napoli win won't matter if we don't win the rest of the games in January. So Francesco Acerbi, one of the unsung heroes of our season, that include the likes of Di Marco, the likes of Dzeko, that are basically keeping us above water at the moment, which is really good. Giovanni says, I can't believe some Napoli fans are blaming the ref. I can believe it. When did Inter ever win a game and the rest of the league not go absolutely tits up? Funny enough, there's more Juve fans complaining about it than Napoli fans, which shouldn't surprise you whatsoever either. Marvel is here. Thank you for joining the stream. We've got 14 with us straight away, which is great. Hopefully we can rock 20 to 25 people in this particular match preview. Saying that Inter players deserved red cards. Oh, actually, since I've just started, give me 1 sec, guys. 1 sec. Give me 3 seconds. Brilliant. Everyone is awake in my house, so I can be even a little louder and close the door. We need to beat these guys, man. We need to beat Monza, who aren't having the best season, but by their standards are still doing what they need to do and keeping themselves afloat while they are basically threatened to hit the drop. So we'll have a little look at the predicted lineups. We'll take a look at their form and their statistics coming into this game, and we'll finish off with some Serie A fantasy as well. MVP is here. Let's beat the Motorola Merchants. Let's do it. Is Motorola their sponsor? Is it seriously? I think it might be. Hey, they got that big ass M on their jersey. I didn't even know Motorola was still a mobile phone. Was still even a corporation, to be honest. So that's funny to me. The fallout from the Napoli game has been very positive from our club, from the boys. Everyone looks like they're ready to go. They looked fitter than I expected them to be. I know that we've had the luxury of having a fair few of our starters in training, first team training, that is, quite regularly. But I was still very surprised to see how we hit the ground running against Napoli. And I expect nothing less against Monza. Surely Monza will sit a little deeper. Surely Monza won't be as enthusiastic to attack us on the break as Napoli were. But that's beside the point. The main point is 3. That's it. Let's kick Berlusconi's ass, as Mattias says. Hello, Emiliano. Good to see you and King Darian who've jumped in. We're 15 people to the strong in this stream now, which is very, very nice. Like the video. Let me know if you are new as well. It's going to be really important to start the game strong. I think we're in a good position to rotate certain members of our squad that started the Napoli game, which I'm going to get into as well. And yeah, like Mighty Mouse says, we created a lot of chances against Napoli, but need to be more clinical. So if anybody gets a look against Monza, they need to score. They need to score. None of these missed chances BS. Giovanni asked, out of curiosity, when is the next FIFA episode? You know what? Since you asked, I'll do another one today. I can do one in about maybe, because I got some stuff to do during the day. I can maybe get back home and do another stream in about 4 hours time. Yeah, 4 hours, 5 hours. If anyone else wants to see one, let me know and I'll drop it in today. I don't mind doing a stream today. I've got nothing on. It's a nice lazy Saturday for me. All right, let's get to the game. Let's get to the predicted lineups because, as I said, this isn't going to be the longest match preview in the world, but there's a fair few to get to in that short amount of time. Our predicted lineup is up on the screen now. Sorry if it's a little bit blurry. Sorry for the English translation as well, but we all know what to expect. So our predicted lineup is very, very similar, if not exactly the same, bar Acerbi out for De Vrij, which leads me to believe that Sky Italia might be a little bit behind the ball on this one. Andre Onana starts the game in goals. Our back 3 is made up of Skriniar, De Vrij, and Bastoni, aka Mr. Sticks. I think that Acerbi is going to start. I don't see why we would rotate Acerbi out of this starting lineup unless that we are really, really pushing for the whole, we need to rotate for fatigue purposes. And when I look at our fixtures, if I'm not mistaken, it'll be the Hellas Verona game that follows this one up, is it? Or is it Parma? It's Parma for the Coppa Italia, Wednesday the 11th at 7 o'clock in the morning. So if we're playing Parma in 4 days' time, I don't mind this lineup. See, for me personally, I wouldn't be starting Lukaku 2 games in a row if you can avoid it, just to make sure that he doesn't get injured. I think one of the 2 frontmen deserve a break for this game against Monza. It's the sort of game where Lautaro should be able to come in and stat pad his way to a goal or 2. But like Mighty Mouse says, loving the Lukaku and Dzeko partnership so far. So if they're both fit and they're both raring and ready to go, the Lukaku, Dzeko, Lautaro rotation is one that doesn't necessarily scare me too much. I don't think there's a particular fixture that you can play 2 over the other one that's a preference. Do you guys know what I mean? Like for some teams, you could line up with some players because it suits it from a tactical perspective, from an aesthetic perspective. I actually don't think these 3 hitmen, these 3 strikers are rotating for any sort of purpose. What's with the names? That's the English translation for their Italian names, man. It happens automatically on my computer when I go on Sky Italia. So Barella is known as Stretcher, Barella is known as Sticks, and Di Marco is known as Marcos. And I'm sure it doesn't stop there if you were to see some of our bench names as well. Akil's echoing me as well. Lautaro should be in there. Dzeko would slot in nicely for the Coppa fixture to replace Lukaku. And like once again, Akil, how many times have we sat here and thought to ourselves, we're so lucky to have a player like Edin Dzeko to do the role that we want him to do. The role that we want Edin Dzeko to do is to not back up 90 minutes on 90 minutes, 3 days apart. That's not what he's there to do. Starting Dzeko in this game is exactly the sort of game where you'd see him get frustrated, you'd see him miss a chance or two, and you'd start seeing the fans get on his back. It's a good game to bring Lautaro in. Keep Dzeko on the bench. Don't even bring Dzeko on unless he's needed, unless we're chasing a goal. Give him a full 90 minutes rest. If we're winning by 2 or 3 goals in this game and Dzeko hasn't come on yet, rest him completely for the Parma game, because right now he's integral to our success. He's the points picker-upper, as I've been saying. Like, this guy is getting us competition points, not just scoring us goals. Before, we were forced to play Dzeko and Lautaro every game, so seeing rotation is a relief. 100%. It's not the right decision to go into this game with Lukaku and Dzeko up front. That's my key takeaway from this starting lineup. I also don't think it's a good idea to start De Vrij over Acerbi. I think it's a good idea to bring in De Vrij in the Parma game as well. Anyone disagree with that? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you like the video, and of course, let me know if you are new. I don't think there's anything else to talk about in terms of our starting 11. Obviously, Hakan will play the deep role, knowing that Brozovic is still about 12 to 13 days away from returning. Mkhitaryan, who's just been fantastic, will play that sort of middleman, as the box-to-box role is occupied by Barella, who, in my opinion, was our best performer against Napoli mid-week. It was a fantastic game from Barella. I think he was just class in all aspects of his game. On the ball, off the ball, verbally, to the referee, to the opponent. He stepped up in a big role in a big game for his big club. And you know what? Like, I'm just going to come out and say it. If the worst thing happens with the Skriniar situation, I know who I want my next in-line Capitano to be. And it's definitely Nico Barella. Denzel Dumfries comes back into the starting lineup in for Matteo Darmian, who didn't have the worst performance of his life against Napoli. But that missed chance is a big one. It's a big missed chance in a big game, and you can't be seeing that too often. Rightfully so, he will be sitting the bench for Denzel Dumfries, who's still our best choice on that right-hand side. What's going on to BLE Reviews Football? Go and check out the channel if you have not already. 15 people here on the video like it. Let me know if you are new. MVP echoes my thoughts. No one but Barella deserves it. Yep. So if Skriniar is not getting the captain's armband and he's walking, it has to go to Barella. I think Dumfries starting is good. It is a good move. We should be able to put these guys away. If we don't, then we've got the same sort of issues, same sort of problems before the Napoli fixture. It's a match day where Milan and Roma play each other. So one or both of those have to drop points, which means 3 points to us means one of 2/3 things. Either we would gain points on Milan in that second position, or we would gain a buffer zone over Roma, or both. I'll take any of the 3. You know, this is a match day, boys. This is a match day where 3 points to us is all that matters. You don't really look at other teams. That match day against Napoli was so bloody hard because not only do you have to take care of the business against the best side in the league who hasn't lost yet, you have to also look at all the other clubs and go, well, they're all versing average opponents. Atalanta played Spezia. We expected Atalanta to win. They didn't. They dropped points. We expected Lazio to beat Lecce. They didn't. They dropped points. We expected Milan and Juve to beat Salernitana and Cremonese, respectively. They did, which means we needed to win to keep up. A win against Napoli was like scary mandatory now that I look back on it. And we got it. So like Acerbi says, and like we're all saying here in the chat, we can't F this up against the likes of Monza in January. We can't F it up against the likes of these guys and Hellas Verona. And I think, do we play Salernitana or Cremonese once as well? I don't know. I don't care. All that matters is that you beat all of these minnow opponents, all of these mid-table to relegation opponents. This is how you challenge for league titles. You can't just rely on the big games. We'll have our shot at big games. You know, we screwed up our first big game against the season against Lazio. People said it was just Lazio. It's okay. Then we screwed up against Milan, and then we screwed up against Roma, and then we screwed up against Juve. That's 4 out of 4. We had to wait for Atalanta. We had to wait for Napoli. So we've clawed 2 of them back. Thank you. We've clawed 2 of them back. We've clawed 6 points back where we were minus 12 in big games. It's big for us to do that. Now you take care of business like a big club in a big league does. You beat the oppositions like Monza, like Hellas Verona, like Salernitana, Cremonese, and all the rest. All right. Mattia, before we move on, do you think Honda should start against Parma or never again? I'm more than happy for him to start against Parma. More than happy. Inter historically has always rotated their keeper in these games. Even when it was Padelli or Radu, we rotate our keepers for these games. Rotate Onana for the Parma game. Put Handanovic in. If we lose the game or we don't win the game, and the causation is a calamity error, or the causation of us not winning is Handanovic, we win coming out of that as well, knowing we never need to play him again if we don't need to. It's worth the risk. We don't have points to drop in Serie A, which means Handanovic can never start a game in Serie A again. Anthony, do I think Gossen should start in the Coppa Italia next week? He's someone I want to see him step up. I think we'll agree in the chat, and let me know if I'm off this. I thought when Gossens came on against Napoli, it was his best injection. It was his best performance as a substitute for Inter. His best one. We've seen him start games, I think, in the Champions League and one more in Serie A. This was his best game off the bench. It makes sense to give him more minutes, But in a game against Monza where they're going to sit a little deeper and there's not going to be as much room behind the defense, it makes more sense to have that artillery left foot of Di Marco that's actually every time he whips a ball in, it's looking like a weapon. Every time he gets the ball with a little bit of time on it, even if there's defenders in front of him or he's in front of the line, it's dangerous. You can't bench Di Marco in this game, but you can definitely start Gosens against Parma. Definitely. So after Monza, we'll all talk about Parma a little bit more specifically and about the rotation that I think needs to happen coming out of there. If we focus on just getting points soon, another top team will drop, whether it's a draw or loss. I think more teams are going to drop, I don't, as I said in my last video, I don't expect us to get more points from now until the end of the season than Napoli or Milan or Juve. I think it will be that tight that we're probably going to be able to get 3 points more, 4 points more, or 3 points less, 4 points less. I don't see the jump and the fluctuation between the current top four being so separative. I see it being nitty gritty, very, very, very nitty gritty until the end. What I do expect and what I do think I am going to see are the likes of Roma, Lazio, and Atalanta all dropping bucket loads of competition points. And if that happens, we need to be there ready, knowing that we've won enough games to be able to look over our shoulder come match day 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, and look over and go, done, finite. We will play Champions League football in 23-24. Because we need to. It's imperative to the club's progression, to sustaining the sinking ship that's going on with ownership, to renewing to renewing contracts. If you can't make the Champions League, it almost feels like you've received a ban from UEFA, because not making the Champions League can set you back so far. So my eyes are on the prize this season. Get those competition points and make sure the likes of Roma, Atalanta, or Lazio cannot snake that Champions League spot that we need. Ciao, Ian Kerr. Thanks for coming in. We have to go for a better run. We have to go for a better run in January. Marvel, Gossens is looking fitter. He is looking better. But Todd, what's going on, my brother? That's my guy. I know Barella is passionate, but he has to stop these childish little outbursts. It's really frustrating, whether it's against the ref or teammates. Yeah, because he's someone that's susceptible to yellow cards and bookings. And he does go that one step too far. And I know that him being that emotionally reactive is probably what's preventing him being in that conversation for the armband, or him being in that bracket as a future captain. Because you got to think, he might be up there in that conversation, but if he doesn't get it this time around because Skriniar gets it, well, there's the captain sort of sorted for the next 3 to 4 years. And following Skriniar, Barella also needs to know that he'll be in a debate with Bastoni and Di Marco if those other two are there as well. We've got 3 Italians that are Inter fans in our starting 11. We've got 3 Interisti in our starting 11. It's big. It's huge. So we need to use them properly. Gossen stepping up is going to be vital to Inter's success in the second half of the season. I agree. There's 20 people here on Inter Worldwide right now. Like the video, subscribe definitely if you are new. And thank you very much to Balkan Warrior, who became our 18th channel member yesterday. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, as Mattia is saying. Monza will be looking to get one over us 100%. They step it up against bigger sides. And that will segue into our next slide. This is the predicted lineup for Monza going into the game. Di Gregorio, who's not a bad keeper, actually. Armando Izzo, who I don't think had a club in between Monza and Torino. Don't think so. So I think he's coming straight from from Torino, unless it's another Izzo. I completely forget. Caldirola and Marlon Santos make up the defenders. Pessina and Ranocchia make up the midfielders who play behind Colpani and Caprari, winged by Carlos Augusto and Chiuria. I can't really say that name properly. Sorry. That's not our Ranocchia. Obviously, that's not our frog, although he did sign for Monza before having to retire and an injury. Watch out for Pessina. He's been annoying all season. He is their captain, and he does really, really enjoy a goal against the bigger side as well. Watch out for Colpani and Caprari, who love to run off one another, and Danny Motta as well, who's not having a bad campaign for them so far. This is a very similar lineup to the one that took a point from Fiorentina the other day, I'm pretty sure. Don't want a captain who has a tantrum over every foul. Barella needs to mature first. Fair enough. Akil says, Anthony, the match preview article will be up shortly on Inter Worldwide. What is your scoreline prediction? Thanks for writing that, Akil. So to the 24 people that are with us right now, which is a fantastic number, like the video, subscribe if you're new. Check out interworldwide.net for Akil's match preview article, which is going up on the website. If you want to put my prediction down on that scoreline and then link this video as well, Akil, I'm going to go with 2-0. I don't think it's going to be a vintage Inter performance. I don't think it's going to be there's going to be too much pazza in it. I can see us maybe scoring a goal after the 20th, 30th minute towards the end of the first half and maybe breaking it open early in the second half, or the other way around, an early goal in the first half and a late one in the second half. So I think that they're just not going to have enough firepower to be able to score more than a goal against us. If they do get a goal, it'll be a lucky one. So I'm seeing like a 2-1, a 3-1, or a 2-0. I'll go with my initial scoreline, a 2-0. I'm going to predict that the last-minute change to this starting lineup is Lautaro Martinez in. So I'm going to go for Lautaro to get a goal and either Hakan or Mkhitaryan to get the other one. So 2-0. Yep, Swiss hater for the medical schools. Love the name. Mighty Mouse says 3-1. Atrayu, bless up from London. Appreciate that, bro. Big up to you coming in from London to watch me this morning. That's really, really nice. What time is it in London? If it's this time, my time, it's probably like what? 10 p.m. for you? 11 p.m. for you at the moment? I'm trying to do the Sharma conversion in my head. 0-2 for Mattia, which would be nice. 1-2 or 0-2 for us. 2-0 for Akil as well. So people are predicting a 2-0 win for us tomorrow, which will be really, really cool. It's about 20 past 10 p.m. up in the UK, innit? So very, very nice. Very nice. The UK brethrens all coming in to watch this morning. Let's have a closer look at our opposition coming into this game. 1.06 points per game, which overall is ranked as poor form, obviously, but we are talking about Monza, a recently promoted side. They scored just over a goal per game, and they concede almost a goal and a half per game, which is also considered poor. They've played 8 games at home this season, 4 wins and 4 losses. They've scored 11 goals, conceded 8 with a goal difference of 3, 1.5 points per game. In their last 5 home games, however, they have collected 4 wins out of 5. 4 wins out of 5, which isn't bad. So we need to go to their home ground and shake them up a little bit. Away from home, they're obviously a lot worse. They've played 8-1-1, drawn 2, lost 5, minus 9 goal difference, 0.6 points. They've won 1 in their last 5 there. And overall, they have a minus 6 goal difference, 5 wins, 2 draws, 9 losses this competition season. So as far as games go, when you're supposed to be challenging, and I put that in a very, very broad bracket for league titles, this is a 3-point game. This is a game where you go to Monza and you win it comfortably. So if we can go and win the game by 2 or 3 goals, like Marvel Lawson is saying, this will boast well for the confidence when we've got the back-to-back coming up between Parma and Hellas Verona. It's quite important to make sure that we get this win. It's quite important to make sure that we do this because it keeps the January trajectory going. As Acerbi and many of our fans have said, it makes absolutely no point whatsoever to go and shake the league leaders, to go and beat the likes of Napoli, and then be unable to beat the likes of Monza or to be able to beat the likes of Hellas Verona. These are the must wins in this league. These are the must wins. These really, really are the must wins. Sorry, I just need to do a little bit of editing on this video because I don't think I've touched up something properly, but that's okay. I can take a closer look soon. So if there's any other comments that you've got about our opposition before I move on to the next slide, which will tackle some of their stats a little bit more specifically, just let me know while I quickly alter something on the YouTube here on the live. Won't take more than 10 seconds, 15 seconds. But yeah, coming into this game, and make sure you're also checking out the the preview that our friend Uncle Sharma did on his channel. I'm sure it goes into a lot more detail than this one right here. Not much else to point out apart from the fact that their owner is Silvio Berlusconi and he loves a cap against a big team. He absolutely loves a cap against a big team. Hey, apparently it's our channel's birthday. That's nice. Didn't realize. So, we all heard that story in the paper. I think how he basically said he'd bribe his players with hookers or high-end escorts if they beat Juventus. I think that game might be coming up soon as well. Not too sure. Is that game in the Coppa Italia? That would make more sense. I feel like he would want to really progress in that tournament there. So, he could make an appearance in that Monza training room, in that dressing room just beforehand and start giving out these sort of BS potential rewards where he starts to say to Monza players, I'll reward you with a night out, I'll reward you with a nice big feed, I'll reward you with a high-end escort, if that's what the former Italian Prime Minister thinks is appropriate. We all know what he thinks. If anybody who knows Berlusconi knows what he thinks is appropriate, and it's not usually appropriate 99% of the time. So it wouldn't surprise me whatsoever to see him make those sort of promises to his side. Let's go to a few more comments and then we'll move on to the next slide. Their owner promised prostitutes for the players with the win, so you never know, 100%. Thank you for Mike Ma for coming in and saying to like the channel. We have to send a message to the others of the team that we are back and we'll go for it. Yeah, guy knows how to motivate players, 100%. There's a very intrinsic motivational factors. There's 25 people here on the channel right now, so like the video and let me know if you're new when you subscribe. Here is Monza's run of form coming into this game. Let's actually start at the bottom where they had 5 losses in 5 after not playing bad football for some of those games, though. They were obviously whacked by the likes of Napoli and Roma, but kept it tied up in the other 3 losses to Udinese, Torino, and Atalanta. And then they went on their little streak throughout early September to early October in their next 4 games where they had a decent 1-1 draw to Lecce, had their most famous result of their club's history almost as they beat Juventus 1-0 at home. They went and smacked Sampdoria 3-0 away the week later, and they beat Spezia as well. 3 losses on the bounce to Empoli, Milan, and Bologna, beating Hellas Verona, losing to Lazio, and beating Salernitana. So when Monza have come up against the sides that they've stood a chance against, they've played really well and captured points. If you take away, really no one expected them to win their first game of the season against Torino. No one expected them to beat Udinese, who were top of the league at that point. And no one expected them to beat Atalanta, Napoli, and Torino. So they've then gone and gotten a point against Lecce, beaten Juve, Sampdoria, and Spezia, who are all Serie A teams prior to Monza coming up. Lost to Empoli, Milan, and Bologna, obviously, but then getting points against Verona and Salernitana, those are the real critical games to get points. And we're kind of missing their other big result of the season, which is actually getting a point away in Florence 3 days ago to Fiorentina. So they've started the year and their next half of the season very positively. Monza will be in good vibes and good form at the moment. They wouldn't have expected to go to Florence and get a point, or if they did, Fiorentina expected to do the business against them at home. That's the most important thing to say. 3-0 to Inter, Bessisa says, which would be nice. I believe they'll remain in Serie A, not to be underestimated. Yeah, they just might be. They just might stay in Serie A. Prediction time before we move on to some fantasy talk, and then I am going to slightly exit. I knew it would only be a 30-minute match prediction. There's still 21 people here with me right now, so let me know. Any other predictions that haven't come through yet? Drop it in the comments. Let's actually check out the Serie A table before we move on, and some of the other fixtures as well. It's hard for me to remember, even if I did just look at it, not yesterday, the day before. So we'll quickly check that out and move into a little bit of fantasy to finish off. Yeah, they haven't been great, BLE, but, for their standards, moving up in the league, I think that they're very happy being in the position that they're in. They are now, they're 8 points above the relegation zone. 8 points. They can almost afford to drop points in this game. And I hope that not that they'll go into the game feeling reluctant, or not that they'll go into the game feeling demotivated, but this is the sort of game where if Inter score early, it shatters 75% of the motivation of the opposition. It cracks the glass and the illusion of them even getting a point against us. You break these boys open early, it's game. So that's what we need to focus on. Into 2-1, Ian Kerr says, can Moore do anything against AC Milan? I really don't think so. I think you're probably going to see roll over and die like they like to do against other big opposition that is not us. Going for a 2-0 win. What a name for a channel. Look at this guy's name. I hate Arsenal, Liverpool, Milan, Juve, and Dinamo Zagreb. So we've probably got someone with a Croatian background here that does not like Dinamo Zagreb whatsoever. Maybe a split fan. I'm not too sure. But to hate Milan and Juve must support Inter and must support some other English club as well. What a specific name. You got to love it. You got to love it. So looking at that part of the table, I expect Monza to drop a lot of points between now and the end of the season and be in a relegation fight, so to speak. But who knows, man? They'll be looking at their calendar now going, don't worry too much about the big games. Let's pick up some points against Samp, against Cremo, against Spezia, Sassuolo, Salernitana. Let's make sure we don't lose again against Empoli. We don't lose against Lecce. We don't lose again against Bologna. And we don't lose again against Torino and Udinese. They look at those games there just on their own. They're surviving the drop by more than 2 or 3 games. More than 2 or 3 games. So big up to them. Monza are in the driver's seat to survive relegation. They really are. But like last season, we've seen teams absolutely topple at the hurdles. Absolutely topple big times. Just Juve and Red Star for you. That makes sense, man. That makes sense. Hope Sampdoria survives. I kind of do as well. I support Sampdoria over Genoa. That's for damn sure. The matches this week, Fiorentina kick off against Sassuolo. Juve against Udinese, which will be a tricky game for both sides. Let's maybe hope Udinese can snag a point there, although I'm not too confident. We play Monza, Salernitana, play Torino. That'll be a good game. It'll be another good game for Spezia against Lecce. Lazio play Empoli, Samp against Napoli, Milan, Roma headline the day. Although keep an eye on Verona versus Cremonese, the bottom of the table clash where the stakes are a lot higher than the positions on the table. And Bologna and Thiago Motta will make life increasingly difficult for Gasperini and his men, which is not good. All right. Inter and Red Star. Sorry, man. I must have forgot that. All right. I don't think there's anything else left to discuss from a Serie A point of view and from a point of view. So let me just get Serie A fantasy up, which I did look at just before the Napoli game and forgot to plug it through. But that's okay. We pick up where we have left off. So let's go share screen, fantasy. All right, let's see how many members we got. What do we have? Like 130, 132 before the World Cup. 149, almost at 150 members. That's pretty good. Looking at the table and the stats, any inter-worldwide hopefuls? I got Franco here. Uncle Sharma is 2 spots above me with 2 extra points. Am I the highest? Oh, Christian Cartello's in the house as well. Did any inter-worldwide members hit the front page? We got some new risers here. I can't believe Jono is still up in this list. Artist Javier is up there. Dieta, nicest guy in Twitter history, is in 14th. Matt Pickham is up to 18th, top 20. Top 20 from Matt Pickham. Just looking for Big Bad Bruno. I think he's at a bit of a Spalletti-esque slump in the back end here. Can't even find him. Is he all the way on page 5? I thought we were closer. You must have had some names that didn't do well. Maybe I've missed it. I've probably completely missed his name. He's probably above me. How embarrassing will that be if I missed his name and he's above me? Where is... Oh, there he is. He's above me. How embarrassing. Woe is me. I'm in 39th position out of 149. Didn't have the best week altogether, although I've got some transfers in the bank. Let's do it. You guys can help me out with some transfers once again. It's imperative that I make the right moves going into this next match day. All right. So who's playing who? Dielofeu is in my side and he's up against Juve, who have got 7 straight clean sheets. Let's take him out. We've got a forward slot with 9 million euros up for grabs here. And I can play Osimhen, who is playing Sampdoria. Get him in. Easy swap. We've still got some subs that we can make. Abraham against Milan isn't the best bet, but you know what? We'll keep him in there anyway. I feel like I should try and change goalkeeper between now and the end, but that's all right. No, I'm happy to keep that. Still got plenty of good, important players in there that are having good seasons. Why do I have... yeah. Now, you know what? I still feel like there's points to be gained here, and Lautaro's going to stay in and get me some points. The only person I'd want in there is Dzeko instead of him at the moment. So let's confirm. Wait, who else is in there for Napoli? I thought it was just Krava. 1, 2... Oh, Meret. No way. Get the keeper out. Get Meret out. Surely there is a just as reliable goalkeeper as Meret to come in. I even put Providel in for cheaper points. He's been a very high scorer this season. I only have one Lazio player in there at the moment. Could chuck Vicario in there, honestly. He's had a good season for Empoli. But nah, we'll put in Providel, and I think that should work if I'm not mistaken, unless my eyes are confusing me again. Nah, good swaps. Good swaps in this time around. Deulofeu and Meret out of there for Osimhen and Providel. I'm into those subs. Those are good subs. Good subs. Make sure you're heading over to our Serie A Worldwide League. The code is up there. The link will also be in the description. I'll make sure to put it in. Okay. Not really much else to discuss. So thank you to everybody who came in today and joined me for the match preview. We're here for almost 40 minutes. The game kicks off in about 21 hours time. I will be awake watching it, and I will be here for some post-match content on the Sunday like I usually am. Guys, Forza Inter Worldwide. Enjoy your day and enjoy your weekend. I'll be back soon. Ciao.